and welcome to another episode of Pivotal Moments. I know it's been a few weeks since we have had live current episodes, so I am excited to get back with our guests, and I hope that you've been enjoying all of our flashback episodes. But today we are talking to someone who is very special, in my opinion, because of all the work that she does in the community with writing. And so I'm excited to talk to Katherine today. And just a little bit about today's episode and the ones that will follow. I'm really focusing on businesses right now, business owners, and really hearing their stories. So today, I am talking to someone who's actually the 2021 Best Business Award recipient from Business Crossing Network and PW Perspective. So I'm super excited about that, and we will get right on into the conversation. Welcome, Katherine. As I mentioned, you're an author, but of course, there's so much more to you. So I'm going to have you tell everybody what you do.
Like to be here. I'm looking forward to this. I love what you're doing, and I'm just so honored to be recognized for the award. That was a big surprise. So thank you.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm an author, and I enjoy writing poetry and usually nonfiction and creative nonfiction. Those are my target areas. I do have children's literature also. And what I do is I like to use my work to help benefit the community. And that's kind of my goal. So I love the arts. I'm a big proponent of the arts, and I support writers. Obviously I enjoy the creative process. Want to get the word out there about the creative process, but I always feel like there should be some kind of other end game out there. Like, okay, what's my mission? And that probably comes because I do have my own business, ATW, All Things Writing LLC, and what I've been doing is channeling my writing into that business, which we can talk about a little bit more because it has just changed and grown throughout the years as my mission has changed, as my focus has changed, and what I'm doing with my writing. So that's kind of where I'm headed at the moment.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, to me, I've always loved reading and poetry, but as I kind of stepped into the world of writing and even sharing some of my own poetry, I feel like it's really just opened the level of appreciation even more for just people like you who have been doing this for so long. I mean, I don't know if you're going to talk about the book about the crane. That was just so cool to me. That was so cool. So, and then even to be able to write a children's book, to me, it's just a whole different level. So as I said, am so honored and excited to have you on the show today. And of course, the theme is pivotal moments. So what pivotal moment are you going to be talking about today?
Oh my gosh. So I have had so many, throughout the years. And like you said, I've been writing since I was a child. My mom, God rest her soul, I miss her. She was writing teacher's aid, a reading aid in schools. So as soon as she taught me how to read, I basically wanted to write, and poetry was like the first thing that I wanted to write. So I think the pivotal moment goes back to what I was talking about with in terms of my business and what I wanted to do with it. And what I really wanted to do is to support the community, starting from children all the way up. So you mentioned, a crane named Steve, which was that was just such a fun book. So for those who don't know about A Crane Named Steve, Steve was a real crane that became a meme in our area. And he was like a star, right? I mean, he was like a star. And, he had arms and people obviously gave him a name. They named him Steve. It was in the local news. It was in the national news.
Yes.
So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to write a book about Steve? Like, let's get Steve's backstory, right? And
so cool.
Use this as a community project. And so my thought was, I don't own Steve, obviously. I don't even own the idea of Steve because it came up in like in a Facebook group, Western Christian William Chapter. That's where it came up. Um, so I was able to partner with Patrick King, who uh, has his own company, Imagine, and he also does illustrations and graphic work and website work. And he is a big proponent of giving back to the community. So
Wow.
together we put this book together, and we were able to, we put it out to the world. It was an Amazon #1 bestseller. I have people that walk up to me and be like, "You wrote this book about a crane named Steve. Can you sign my book?" I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm going to be known for
Right,
looking at a
right.
crane." All right, laughing. But it's
That's
been
great.
wonderful, and it's been wonderful to be able to, raise funds for community give backs, because of that. And I love how it's brought the community together.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
So going back to your question, I think the pivotal moment was, reinforcing kind of my mission as, an author and, a business, which eventually I think I want to turn my business into a nonprofit. Because right now what I do is I partner with nonprofits to, be able to do some of this work within the community.
Mm.
But it'd be nice to have my own nonprofit someday. Someday
Yeah.
down the road.
Yeah. And it's just so amazing because what I love about this show is that it really highlights just the goodness of people. Every single person that I have had on this show, that I've had the amazing honor to speak with, it just always reinforces humanity. And even what you're talking about, I mean, you are a very amazingly good writer, and all that you could be doing with your talent, but you choose to spend a lot of that on, like you said, the community, and even helping other writers and things like that. So I mean, just kudos to you for just, again, just being a good person and using your talent wisely and for the community. I think that's so awesome.
I'm so inspired by, companies and organizations that give back to the community. And, I've been doing some, reading, and in the recruiting world, for companies that are hiring, there is a big demand for companies that give back. There is a big demand for companies that kind of, it's not just about the money anymore. I don't think it can be about the money anymore. We're not even in a place in our world where it can be about the money anymore.
Yeah.
And we definitely need money. Okay, don't get me wrong. We need money because
Right.
we got to live. That's simple as
Right.
that. But it can't just be about that. So for me, mission is very, very important. Very important.
Yeah. Wow. So, what would you say with your pivotal moment? What would you say that you learned about yourself in this process? What kind of thing did you learn about you that's kind of just that unchangeable thing, right? That's just like, this is what I learned, is who I am, and just everything will pivot around this.
So many things. The first is I did not realize that I was so dedicated to missions. I didn't even realize it. And the writing process has this amazing way of getting you in touch with yourself and revealing things that you didn't even know about yourself. And because you get your book out, you're all about that. And
Yeah.
it is really just, writing is such a powerful tool for self discovery, self
Mm,
expression, getting you to think in different ways, think creatively that you wouldn't have thought about something, typically.
yeah.
Um, so I did not realize that I was so, oh my God, we got to have a mission until I started writing like my website content.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, what am I really doing here? Like, what
Mm,
is the point? And I'm like,
yeah.
known for asking, like, what's the point? What's the bigger picture?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was huge for me. Is just discovering that I needed that mission to like ground me because in the end, it's bigger than us. it's bigger than this day-to-day thing that we do. It's bigger than, the weeds that we get into in our lives. No matter what job you do or what business you do, there's got to be a bigger reason behind it, and so, one of my books, Get Happy Damn It, talks about the why circle and asking yourself why, and keep asking yourself that. So that is just such an important question to ask yourself, and it's hard, right? It's hard work.
Yeah. 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 It's
Um,
true.
so
Wow. That's
there's
awesome.
definitely that. There's definitely that self-discovery aspect of it. I would
Yeah.
encourage everybody to ask themselves what their big why is, though.
I love it. I love it. And what adjustments have you had to make along the way? Because that's always worth talking about, right? Because sometimes, a person might, hear a conversation like what we're having and, come away like, well, that just sounds so perfect. It sounds like they have it all together and, writing these books and all that. So that's why I always like to bring this question into the conversation to show people there's adjustments along the way. So what adjustments have you personally had to deal with in this journey?
Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you. Yeah, adjustments. Oh boy. so I started my business probably officially like 2013 ish.
Mhm.
And I decided, what I was gonna, and the reason is that I had a real estate person ask me if I would blog for them, and I was like, people do that? Like, they don't write their own stuff? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, so I said, yeah, that's great. And so I started doing that. And then I met another person and another person and another person. And through networking, and networking, as you know, is just such a powerful tool for building any business, no matter what it is. And before I knew it, I was just like, I was cranking. I mean, I was like writing and writing and writing, and I couldn't keep up. So I started to work with other writers that I knew, and for my business. Before I knew it, I had 8 people. Yeah, I had 8 people. And guess what? I wasn't doing anymore. I wasn't writing anymore because I was managing 8 people, and I was doing HR, and I was doing payroll, and I was doing taxes, and the obviously you have a staff, then I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, is this really what I want to be doing? The whole experience has been amazing. The learning that I have done along the way has been incredible, but I need to go back to who I am, and basically who I am as a writer. So what I decided to do is I'm going to write full time. So I'm going to write full time. I started working in government contracting, doing writing. I do marketing writing for government contracting, and I'm doing my creative writing and my giving back through my company. So huge shift. And like I said, at some point, I want to become a nonprofit. There's going to be another huge shift. And I think it's okay to make those shifts. I think, people get into this mindset of like, oh my God, it's got to look like this, and this. And if it doesn't look like this, and this, that's not the thing. And I got to quit. And it's like, no, you don't have to quit. This is your business. You make this what you want it to be. It is going to be hard work, and you really need to sit down, and decide. You got to make some tough decisions along the way. So I'm glad I made the decisions that I did, because it's really taking me closer to where I want to be. Um,
Wow.
and
You know,
as the longer you do it, the more changes you go through, and I
yeah.
mean, that's why you see people sell off their companies and go off and go to their next business
Yep.
because they
Yeah.
got a new vision. You know.
And I love that you're saying that because it's so true. Sometimes what I'm really taking from what you're saying is stop and assess, and always have that moment where you're saying it, going back to the why, is this fulfilling my why? Like you said, one could have looked at when you had the people that reporting to you and you've got this business, one could look at that and say, well, that is success, like you are being successful in that. But you were like, this isn't fulfilling my why. My why is the writing. I have to get back to that. So I think that's a huge message for people to really take away from this, right? And like you said, give yourself that forgiveness, the okay to say, I'm gonna change. It's just
Yeah.
that simple.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, like with with the way COVID hit businesses and things like that,
Yeah.
you have to be able to be flexible. And if you don't bend, you break, right? I mean,
Mm, yes.
because we have all gone through so many different changes, especially over these past few years, and the way that we're doing business. And I'm like, I probably wouldn't even be having this conversation with you, because
I know.
I'm like down here in my basement. Writing is very solitary in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And so we have to make those connections in different ways. And you got to rethink how you're doing things constantly reassessing, like you said.
I love it. Well, as we come to the end of the conversation, I mean, you've shared so many amazing gems already. Is there anything else that you can say directly to those who are tuned in right now, whether watching, listening, playback, whatever the case? What message do you want to leave directly to those tuned in right now?
I think find your why. Can't say that enough. Find your passion and use it wisely, because these are tools and gifts that you've been given. There's a reason why you have this passion and this drive. And if you can get back to that reason why you have that passion, why you get up in the morning, why you want to give the world what it is you want to give the world, then there's going to be no stopping you. And then, second of all, find the people that are going to help you get where you need to be with your business. And that's not self serving, because if you've got your why, you've got your passion, and it's not all about me, people are going to want to help. I mean, people have come out of the woodwork to help with some of these programs that I'm doing,
Yeah.
through writing. And it is amazing. It is just a spiritual experience watching people come out of the woodwork where you're like, how did that happen? Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, this has been awesome. Of course, I'm going to have your links in the show notes so everyone can follow and keep up and continue to support you. I am just super excited. I followed you for so long before we actually met in person at another award ceremony. So that was very cool. And just again being able to connect with you, I just, like I said, it's truly an honor. And I'm so excited that you are one of the recipients. So I look forward to seeing you in August. For those, again, I'll have the link to that event as well. So if you want to come and meet Katherine at the award ceremony, first annual business conference, you'll have the link there to be able to do that. But again, thank you for just coming and chatting with me about your pivotal moments. And I just wish you continued success and blessings in all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity and talking with you. You have been such an inspiration to me too.
Oh, thank you so much. And of course, to you all out there who have tuned into Pivotal Moments, I could not do this without the support of you all. So thank you for tuning in to yet another episode. And we'll see you next time on Pivotal Moments with Lita.